Alright, so once again we're at it with another Doom WAD level review, number 4, Magenta Spire. Now before I get too far into this one, I am going to do like a seizure warning, photosensitivity warning, if bright lights or constant flashing or bright colors or anything like that irritates you even in the slightest, this level is not for you. As well as there's a great deal of time that I'm stuck with just huge flashes on my screen because there's so many enemies coming at me. I'm just sitting in a corner holding down the attack button. As you can see, I just started this one out in invincible mode. There's no point in playing this without invincible mode. This is by far the worst map I've played so far. It just throws so many enemies at you. This is literally the second room. You've got 2 incubuses, like 50 Hell Knights, 20 pinkies come out at you, 20 hit scanners, like, it just ridiculously throws enemies at you non-stop. As per usual, I went to the internet to see if anyone had ever beaten this level, and the speedruns are shockingly empty, which most likely means no one has ever actually beat this level, and it's not hard to see why. When you come back into this room, they literally just pack it full of monsters. Like, there's no lore, there's no reason, it's just literally as many monsters as they can stuff in the room, and then this is the room where it just all completely goes awry. Like, you walk out in here and there's just Hell Knights and Barons of Hell and Imps and Mancubuses and Arachnotrons and Revenants, and it just non-stop. There is a secret back here you can jump into. I'm not really sure it counts as much of a secret, but I've complained in previous Doom WADs that there weren't secrets, so hey, they included the secret. Now the goal here, at some point you'll see I'll walk over and you have to flip a switch, and it just slowly raises up the stairs. And that's like my number 2 complaint with the level, besides the monster spam, is everything is set up to move so slowly. And it's supposed to maybe be like a survival section, but I didn't even bother. There's just nothing fun about this at all. The entire level is called Magenta Spire, so obviously they're going to use magenta in the level. That's kind of the gimmick, but it is done absolutely hideously. Like, random enemies are covered in this magenta slime. A lot of the stuff is recolored as magenta, and it's just this obnoxious color that hurts your eyes to look at and really serves no purpose outside of the lore of the world that is called Magenta Spire. These enemies were bugged for whatever reason. They didn't move, which thank goodness, because Archviles are hard enough to deal with, so on top of everything else, I'm glad they weren't moving around very much. But you can see here, again, the magenta's everywhere, and it's absolutely hideous. I don't know why it's in here. I don't know why they chose magenta. This is by far the worst part, and if you weren't scared off by my warning in the beginning, here is where the photosensitivity warnings are going to get the absolute worst. So again, last chance, if you're sensitive to ugly colors, flashing lights, anything like that, please look away. So this is another survival section where they just throw 1,000 Hell Knights and Barons of Hell at you, and you're supposed to stand on these stairs as they slowly raise up, and then that's the end of the level. The annoying thing is you'll see when I eventually get to the end here, there's like a little jump you have to make, and if you fall down, that's it. There's no way back up as far as I can tell. Now granted, I am photosensitive, so I didn't spend very much time in this level because it was giving me a headache. In fact, recording the audio now, trying to watch the screen is almost too much for me. Just all the flashing lights and moving around, it's getting to my head again already, so I gotta look away from the screen, but you've got to make this little jump over, and if you miss it, you fall down into a pit. In other Doom games, if you fall down into a pit, either it hurts you a little bit, and then there's like a teleporter out, like, hey, you failed the jump puzzle, so here's a little punishment. Or there's even a secret down there that's like, hey, you didn't fall down here, you meant to come down here, you were just exploring, so here's a stim pack, or a med kit, or a special gun. Good job for finding the secret, but that did not appear to be here. And again, this part just absolutely hurt my head. I ended up just restarting completely because I didn't want to look any longer. I didn't want to have a seizure playing this awful level. The music, honestly, I did this video about a day or two ago, and I can't remember a single bit of the sound other than it was awful. If nothing else, it was forgettable, but on top of that, you have just constant screaming and groaning and all the demon noises, so I don't think you'll even hear the music anyways, so forgettable at best, offensive at worst. You will see the imps. I will give them credit for this. The imps do have a different model. I believe he refers to them as big imps, and you'll see they have a slightly different model. They have a little bit more health. It was cool to see like a custom skin in one of these. I don't see that very often, so that was pretty cool to see. But so far, most of these WODs that I've played have reminded me of like Mario Maker 2. If you've played Mario Maker 2, the essential idea is they give you the tools to make whatever Mario level you want. And when little kids get a hold of that, they think, oh, it'll be super fun to make an annoying level with all the worst monsters possible crammed in a little room that's impossible to do. I don't know why that's like what little kids do, but that seems to be like half of Mario Maker is here's impossible levels with really annoying monsters. And that's what I got from this. Like, I can't think of any reason to make this other than you hate the player and you want to see them suffer. You will see there is a custom skybox. There's some sort of weird like egg planet in the background that's kind of rainbowy covered. I thought this was called the Magenta Spire, so I thought like the background you would see like a giant Magenta Spire, but instead there's some sort of egg. I don't know why, but it's there. It's kind of cool. It's nice to see custom, skyboxes, so I'll give them that. But what happens next is the most baffling part of this whole thing. So I don't know if there's a story. I tried to see, I couldn't see any like lore for this level, but so you had this huge enemy spam, and then you go on to the second level. So it's not just a single WOD. I believe it's, let me look it up. Looks like there's like 6 maps under the Magenta Spire, and then there's also an episode called Technical Difficulties. I did start there, but based on the name, I thought it was because like I had different mods attached to it, so I didn't know that was actually the game. I thought that was literally Technical Difficulties. Also, really quick, worth pointing out that this got an award as one of the best levels in 2022, which makes me incredibly sad. I just feel like they hand out the awards to anyone. So the strange part that I want to talk about on this level is that the last level was non-stop demons attacking from everywhere. This level literally has 0 monsters in it in the entirety of the level. Like, I even looked it up, that there's 0 monsters in this level. Period. There is some sort of weird, like, phantom dog, and I don't know if that's supposed to be, like, Daisy, or related again to a story that I don't know about. I didn't find much lore for this, and I obviously didn't spend much time in the level to find lore, so I don't really know why it's there, but there is a phantom dog you'll see at some point. But the reason why it's so strange to bring up there's no monsters, besides the fact that the last level was pure monster spam, is like, Doom is no stranger to puzzles. Usually there's puzzles interwoven in the level, whether it is, finding your way, finding the map, getting the right key card, doing a little jump puzzle. Like, puzzles in Doom don't bother me. It's a core part of the Doom experience. But if you remove the monsters, then the challenge is simply just an archaic, strange puzzle in a game that's not really built for complex puzzles. Well, you get something awful. Like here, the first part of the puzzle is to walk through a wall that looks like it's a wall, but you can clip through it to get this key. Okay, but why? What's the point? There's no monsters, so it's just run around and bang your head against the wall until you find the right thing. Now again, in this room, there is a switch to let you out. There must be some trick to getting through here, but I didn't want to have a seizure, so I ended up just rage quitting out of this part and ending, or putting in the cheat code for the key card so I can get to the next part, because those flashing lights were giving me a headache and causing me problems. And again, I wanted to be, sensitive to my viewers who might also be photosensitive, who did not want to enjoy staring at this effect. And like, I get that lighting was something special in Doom, and there's something you talked about in lighting in Doom, but this is just obnoxious. There's no reason for this to exist with the flashing lights, period. And in fact, I might have advocated that in movies too. Like, why make a movie that a certain part of the population simply can't watch for what a cool effect is? Not even that cool of an effect, so what's the point? So you'll see I grabbed my rocket launcher here so I could blow myself up so I could start back over. Once you get the blue key, you can then go in the front door, and that's what you'll see I do once I enter in the code here. And then from there, there's a couple different things in this room. You can get to the exit fairly quickly if you just want to leave the level. The wiki does say that there is a cursed BFG you can get if you hit 5 switches. But like my last map where I was complaining about this, you know, I really get really frustrated when you flip a switch and it's not obvious what it does. And apparently there's 5+ switches in this level that do that, so I didn't want to run around an empty map with literally nothing in it that's got nothing but this ugly magenta to try and find 5 random switches, right? Like, this level just isn't that interesting. It's not that fun. I don't see any reason why anyone would want to ever replay this level. If playing it one time isn't even fun, then I don't know why it would be fun the second, third, fourth, or fifth time. Whereas we've compared it before, you know, playing E1, M1, E1, M2, things like that. I could play those levels for the millionth time and still have fun grabbing the secrets, running through the action-packed. It is the perfect mix of secrets, small puzzles, and enemy placement. Whereas this is just too many enemies and then no enemies at all. There's the phantom dog I was talking about. I did try and shoot it. It doesn't do anything, so I don't know why, what it does, anything like that. So I did make it to the 3rd mission to see if maybe the 3rd mission got any better, trying to give this a fair and honest shot. But as you'll see, it's more obnoxious lighting effects, and at that point, I had too much. I couldn't handle any more blinking lights, terrible pink, or enemy spam, and that seemed to be all this was going to be. So that's as far as I made it. I definitely do not recommend this map. I don't know why anyone would want to play it. If you want to experience it for yourself, it is called the Magenta Spire. You can download it as a Doom WAD and alter your Doom with it. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I definitely appreciate the support. If you haven't already, if you could please like and subscribe, that is also very helpful to my channel. Thank you so much, and have a blessed day.